Welcome to Power Fridays Live, the channel that aims to make a difference in the world through transformation, spiritual growth, and for entrepreneurs. Our vision is to empower individuals to live their lives with purpose and to make a positive impact on the world. We believe that power and purpose are the driving forces behind success and fulfillment in both personal and professional life. Through our broadcast, we discuss business strategies and techniques that can help entrepreneurs achieve their goals and take their business to the next level. We believe that through sharing knowledge and experience, we can empower each other to succeed and make a difference in the world. Now here's our host, Janelle Pulley.
Hello, welcome to Power Fridays Live, and I'm super excited to have with us this evening Renee McRae. She's a poet and president of Poetic Motivations, LLC, a Department of Education vendor and minority women-owned business. Over the last 20 years, she's facilitated thousands of empowering workshops for students, teachers, and parents. Renee is a 6-time author, and her books are available on Amazon.com, and we're going to definitely share that information with you. She's published over 20 books for her students and teachers in poetry in New York, around the country. She's a much sought-after speaker, and we are super excited to have her with us tonight. And her favorite mantra and the title of her latest song is "You Can Live Your Dreams." Everyone, please help me welcome Renee McRae, poet and entrepreneur extraordinaire. How are you doing this evening, Renee?
I am doing wonderful. Thank you so much for having me, Janelle.
Oh, thank you so much for being a yes. And we talked, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, you're such a powerful woman, and I want to get to know more about you. So, do you mind just sharing with the audience today about who you are and how you grew up and how what brought you to your poetic motivations?
Okay, so my name is Renee McRae, and I wasn't always McRae. That name rhymes. It's appropriate for a poet, but I actually got that name after I married my husband. But I'm homegrown New York City. I went to all New York City schools, and I've lived in a lot of different several places. I was that person that was always looking for, who am I? Why am I here? What is my purpose? What is my reason for being? And so consequently, I did a lot of, want to say soul searching, but I really did a lot of searching, period. I mean, you look under this and say, is this me? You look under every stone, every rock, and you're like, is this me? Is this what I'm supposed to be doing? I mean, I sold limousines. I sold cars. I sold medical alert systems. I've fallen, but I can't get up. When that first came out, I sold that. And that was like many, many years ago. It must have been like 20 years ago or more. It's just crazy. I mean, I was a marketing rep for a marketing director for a cable company. I had 4 states that I was in charge of. And, you name it, I was figuring it out. But originally I thought, and this is how impressionable we are as children, because we got in a car accident when I was younger. And so we had to go to a lawyer. And while I was sitting there, this woman was sitting there like just typing. And this carriage on the typewriter was going back and forth. It wasn't a computer back then. And she was typing and the carriage was going back and forth. She would ding, and she'd do like that. And she was just, da, 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 and she was looking over there. She never looked at the keys. And she was, da, 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 ding, da, 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 ding. And I was like, I want to do that. That's what I want to do. And so when I went into high school, I studied legal secretarial option, where, I did general law, I did legal vocabulary, stenography, all of that stuff.
Writing in shorthand.
What'd you say?
You learned how to write in shorthand.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And it came in quite handy. So I did that for a long time. I mean, I did that from right out of college, right out of high school even. And I had gone to college, so studied the same thing. So when I came out, I was already working for an attorney through a program that we had at the college I went to. So long story short, I did that until I realized that's not who I am. Like, this is crazy. I can sit here and do this all day and it doesn't do anything for me. Um it doesn't satisfy me. It doesn't satisfy my soul. It doesn't feel like I'm really accomplishing anything. And I think that maybe what I thought I was doing, when I look back, is like I was being cute. I thought I was, I would have a little cute dress on and I'm going to work and I'm making this good money and I'm working for these powerful law firms. And I left, I went to Chicago. I worked in two powerful law firms there, very prestigious firms, nationwide.
Yeah.
But then I realized there's something else for me. And I didn't know what that was. So I just started doing a lot of things. I sold real estate. I got a New York City real estate license. I mean, I'm trying everything. My mother said to me, you taking people to the airport? Who's going to take the bags out of the car? And I said, I don't know. I guess they're going to take them out. So I hadn't thought that far in advance, but yeah. So I did a lot of things. And then, one night it really came to me that, I had this dream. I was asleep. I woke up and I was in the middle of a dream and I was in a classroom and I was teaching life, but I was doing it through rhyme. I was rhyming the whole time. And I woke up and I thought, oh my God, this is who I really am. That felt like that's me. Like all of a sudden just hit me out of the blue. This is what it came to. And I was like, how do I do that? And so that was the beginning of my life as fulfilling my purpose, basically.
Oh, wow. That's very inspirational that it came to you what your purpose was, in a dream. And that's what inspired you to start your business, was the dream that you had.
Exactly. That was the I'm sorry. Sorry, I got something caught in my throat. When I started my business, it was later. What happened was it came to me in a dream and then things started happening. I went doing poetry somewhere and someone said, can you come to our book club? I came to the book club. Can you come to my school and talk to my kids? I was like, so I didn't really go after it. I had the recognition. And then it's like the universe just started providing me the yellow brick road. So I just started following the yellow brick road. And I went over here and I did this and I did that. I didn't charge. But then I did an assembly program. I just didn't know how to say no. I don't say no. Whatever's, you say, Renee, can you? Yes. Doesn't matter what's going on. I'm doing it. So I went and did this assembly program. I didn't know what I was doing. And when I came out, the principal called me, Miss McRae, you know that what you just did with those kids in that assembly? I said, yes. He says, I want to hire you to work with all the kids in the building. I want to hire you for the rest of the school year. So that was how I got into it, really. And coincidentally, and I didn't know what to say. So I said, okay, let's have a meeting on Monday, because I didn't know what to do. But I said, okay, let's have a meeting on Monday. So that was Thursday. Well, Friday, coincidentally, I had an appointment to be interviewed for Teachers and Writers Collaborative. And teachers and writers, they bring poets and writers into the schools to work alongside teachers to work with the kids. So I wanted to get on their roster. And so that's how, I went in there and I was talking with them and they said, okay, we want to hire you. This is great. Let me tell you what you have. So they gave me this whole carte blanche to all of the resources they had, all of the books on how to create poetry workshops, and how to write fiction, memoirs, all kinds of stuff. And then they gave me, if you want to talk to a principal, if you want to talk, this is what you need to ask. This is what New York City requires. If you want to talk to the teachers, this is what you ask them about. Everything was laid out. It couldn't have been more perfect. So I went home and I took everything. And because of my legal secretarial skills, I was able to take everything they gave me and change all of their stuff to my name. And so I went in that Monday morning and I had that meeting with that principal and I had all the papers that I needed. And it was in my name and it looked like I was already an established vendor.
Oh, wow. You had the full curriculum. And what's exciting is the fact that you are at the heart of hip hop. and you're a poet and you rhyme and all of that musically inclination and just the entertainment aspect. And but what I like what you said about the writing and the focus that you had for the children in the school system, it wasn't about just performing. It was about, hey, this is your writing, this is how you develop these certain skills. So can you tell us a little bit more about the program that really caught that
Okay.
principal's attention in the
Well,
assembly?
the program that he saw has changed and morphed into more of a. It's called "You Can Live Your." No, not you live. It's called, because I have so many different ones. "You Can Live Your Dreams" is my song, and it's also a workshop. However, that one is called "You Hold the Keys to Your Success," and so that one, it's kind of interactive, but and I have like a PowerPoint presentation and everything. And so it's a combination of success poetry, success equations, success um, quotes, and stories, success stories. So I'm talking with them in a lot of different ways to get them to begin to understand how this fits in with their life,
Okay.
how they're letting peer pressure get in their way, how they're, you know what I'm saying, how they're following behind someone else who's an athlete or a rapper or some notable celebrity, as opposed to finding out who they are, what brings you joy, what is your reason for being. I've been through this journey. I already know how to
Yes.
get you there. So that's another thing that I started coaching, because I found out I was doing this for like 20 years in the school system. And the teachers are like, are you here for them or for us? Because I'm getting a lot out of this, so
Yes.
it's like what works for one works for all, but you just have to be of that mindset where you want to know, what is my reason for being? Why am I here? What's my purpose? What should I do? Should I do this or should I do that? A lot of times we make decisions based on what we see instead of making decisions based on what we want to see. You know how they say, oh, Miss McRae, I'm just writing what I see. I said, no, you see in what you write. So when you talk, when you speak, like, by the thoughts we think and the words we say, we're creating our lives every day.
Mm-hmm.
What are the thoughts that we don't see? Could they be holding us in our misery? And once we know we're writing the script, then maybe we'll change the language a bit. So just speaking with them in rhyme to get them to understand how to begin to uncover the layers of who they have become and are becoming, to find out who they really are and who they came here to be. Like, that's the most important thing. So that particular piece, like I said, that's an assembly program. It's called "You Hold the Keys to Your Success." And then the other program that I was doing, where I've actually published over 20 books of poetry of the children's poetry, it's called "Step Right Into Your Greatness." The right is WRITE.
Oh, great. Well, I'm so excited and happy to learn this and that you've made a difference for a lot of young people in the New York City area. But I know that you are available to speak across the country and even internationally. So can you share any specific lessons or advice, for people who are aspiring to be an entrepreneur?
Well, you have to know your audience, you have to know who your client is, and you have to know what they want. Like, you don't go in there wanting your agenda to be accepted. You go in and find out what's their agenda, and then you supply them the solution for that. That's the most important thing that I could suggest for anyone. I mean, people come to me all the time and they want to know, how can they get into schools? Because I've been doing this, and I've been in a lot of different school systems. Uh, you know, I was in Baltimore, I was in Richmond, I was in New York, I was in Las Vegas, um, you know, and then like it just kind of metamorphosized into other populations and other, like, for instance, I was with so when I guess when my phone was distracting me. But so I've worked in all these different school systems, and people always ask, one thing they always want to know is, how can I publish a book? Because they see these books that I've published. How can I publish? I've always wanted to publish a book. Or they'll ask, How can I bring it? I've had teachers come up to me and say, how can I come into the school system with my message? I'm like, you're already in the school system, but okay. But that's just what, you know what I'm saying? Like that's, people want to know how to do these different things. And it's always about, like they'll say, well, I want to, I write Christian poetry. I write poetry about divorces, parents divorce. I want to talk to them about, parents getting divorced. I'm like, do they want to hear that? Like, you're going to have to find out a way to package that to give the principal what they need, because the principal is the one that's spending the money. They're the ones making the decision.
Exactly, because you have a need and you're passionate about a topic, but then is that really what will be well received within whatever the children are dealing with, whenever the parents are dealing with, or even the teachers for that matter? And so, what strategies and principles have been important to the success of your business, Renee?
So strategies. It's funny. I had a workshop called Strategies for Success, and I was doing that in some colleges out in North Carolina. So many workshops, so many ways, and you taking me back. So, so strategies, I guess to me, the most important thing is understand who you are. Mm-hmm. And if you can get to understand who you are, you're going to be a better you, and you're going to do your thing better than anyone else could do it. It's no sense in trying to be somebody else. When I was talking with my daughter, she, she had been dancing, and she's, a little kid, and she wanted to be a professional dancer. And she got scared, got nervous, which we all shrink when we get in the face of fear. And so she was saying that she was thinking she might as well be a doctor or something like that. So I said, what would you do for free? What would you do if you knew that you could not fail? What would you do if God came down and wrote across your forehead, whatever you do, you will succeed? What would you do then? And she said, well, then I would dance and I would travel the world. So this kid, I said, okay, fill out this application for LaGuardia, the Fame School. I want to live forever. Right. So that's in New York, LaGuardia. So she filled out the application. She went down there. She got it. She started, so she went there. She went to Juilliard. From Juilliard, she graduated. She went into Parsons Dance Company. She did that for some years. And so she started traveling the world. And then she tried, just Germany, this place, that place. And it just kept evolving. It's like, oh, I want to make more money. Let me go on Broadway. So then she did The Lion King. She did Gulliver. Now she's still traveling the world. Still traveling with Cher for the last 15 years. So when you are clear about what it is that is who you are, then you can see your direction. And when things show up, you'll know that's for me. That's my direction. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So,
yes.
So that to me, the strategy is self-understanding. It's like in one of my poems, since I began to discover myself and seek the essence which lies within, I found some peace, some dignity. I no longer accept reality. I'm no longer swayed by others' advices. I'm no longer paying the guilt-ridden prices. In raising my children or quitting my job, I now realize it's my hand on the knob. In getting divorced or changing careers, I'm moving my life beyond my own fears. I'm opening doors by instinct alone, asking others I cannot condone. Although I know not what's on the other side, my decisions are mine, and I make them with pride. I rely on myself and my God-given strength. My faith will sustain me until I am quenched. I've practiced and preached, and I've strived for and reached, and I've seen for myself what no others can teach. We're endowed with the gifts of thought and free will to heal our own lives or choose to be ill. I'm learning, I'm growing, I'm beginning to flower. I now realize I have the power.
Oh, wonderful. I want to snap my fingers. I've got the power. And we have the power with Renee McRae here on Power Fridays Live. That was such a powerful poem, Renee. Very inspiring. I can feel the chills in my bones. And it's like, oh, yes, Lord. Thank you, Jesus. You have led, a lot of people to this place and motivated others to live into their dream, live into their purpose with your own daughter, as the framework, and even as yourself as the foundation of the framework to build a strong business, to build up people, build up the lives of children, teachers, your community. So how do you see this, what you do and how you share what you have with the community that is giving an impact to the community? Where do you see your
So,
impact?
so sometimes some of my students contact me on social media, on Facebook, or not really Facebook. I'm not really on there much, but on Instagram. Um, and so, and they said, Miss McRae, I had a student just recently call me that we're writing a book in my school. We all got together and they asking me for advice. So I did a little, a little Zoom with them. And that had been a student from, way back. I had a student got in touch with me years later. She's now a corrections officer. And she's also a publisher of a magazine. And just to see the fruits of your labor as when they're kids and they're acting like this, and then they're growing up and then they still remember you and they contact you. They go, "How do you remember me?" And, I think that that's one of the ways is that I feel really good about that progress and accomplishment that people are having based on what they learned at an early age. As adults, we are programmed by society, well-meaning, and well-meaning parents and well-meaning teachers, but we're programmed to think in a certain way, and we're not necessarily programmed to think in authentic ways, or original ways, original thoughts. But yes, so what I found that now I've branched out a little bit. I've been working with social workers in schools that work with trauma, working with students in temporary housing. It's a lot of trauma there. Working with foster care students, a lot of trauma. Working with the social workers, taking them through their trauma, and it was like it was so gratifying because we did this exercise, and when we finished, everyone was crying, and I had 125 social workers in a room, and when we finished, they were all crying. They wanted to share their pieces. They sent it to me online, and it's like you're making a difference, because when you break down like that, you're breaking through, and now you become a better person. I mean, I had to share my deepest moment of breakdown in my life, and I shared that with them through a poem, and that began. It's like, because you can't ask people to do what you won't do. So I shared the poem, and when I told them it was mine, they were just like, "Oh my God, that was it." And so then I asked them to share, and I had like one student. I'm gonna share his poem. This was a student in a suspension site. And I had never, I work a lot with kids with suspension. Whatever they've done now, they're in suspension site. So I'm working with them, and I'm publishing these books. So I asked them to write this poem. So I asked them to write a poem called "You Think You Know Me." So he's writing. Everybody's writing. Not everybody's writing deep. Some people are writing superficial. He's writing, and I'm like, what is he writing? I don't even know him. First day there, and I'm looking over his shoulder, and he's writing, "You think you know me, but you didn't watch your mom die from breast cancer. Holding on was all I knew, but letting go was the best answer. You think you know me, but you didn't watch your aunt struggle living off Section 8, trying not to get evicted while listening to my mom's voice through the pearly gates. You think you know me, you don't know half my story. We stay in tears. Why they had to lock up Corey? You think you know me? I'm just trying to get up out the bottom, but I can't, because I'm always up wondering why they shot him. You think you know me, but you didn't watch. Bet you didn't know I never had a father figure. They killing us in the streets. How come that don't make us sicker?" So while I'm writing, I'm over his shoulder reading this, tears coming to my eyes about you didn't watch your mom die from breast cancer. Holding on was all I knew, but letting go was the best answer. Like, that was it.
Wow.
I was like, tears. And he's like, "You all right, miss?" He didn't even know my name, right?
Wow.
He's just getting it out. But this is the power of poetry. The
Mm-hmm.
power of cathartic, um, lay down your burdens, poetry. You want to know why that kid is in suspension? Read this. You want to know why that kid is not focused on math and science? Read this.
Mm-hmm. Amazing.
So that, to me, the poetry that these kids write, it it just it just wells me up. It just fills my soul. It just is so gratifying to see them lay down their burdens and begin to, because what you're hiding, that doorway that is you keeping out the world, that's the same doorway it's gonna let you in. That same block is that same doorway to freedom. And
Mm-hmm.
so, getting them to understand that, and then when someone reads it and then they go, oh my God, my mother had this too. Oh my God, my father's in jail too. Oh my God, my da da da. They like start seeing similarities, so they don't no longer have to hide all these. This hiding the truth is
Mm-hmm.
is dangerous. It's
Right.
dangerous physically. It's dangerous mentally. But no one's teaching the kids or anybody else how to release this, how to let go and move on. And then, but once you do, you're free. That's your ticket to freedom right there.
It's the power of self-expression. That's what I hear you saying. The power of
Exactly.
being
It's the
fully
power of,
self-expressed.
and not only that, it's the power of self-discovery. It's
Mm-hmm.
like the power of looking inside and finding out what makes you tick. It's finding out what's stopping me. It's finding out what are my beliefs that are holding me back, and how can I now begin to get my life on track. It's
Mm-hmm.
about using the poetry to be um, self introspective, like introspection. Um, that's what it is. It's using it as a tool to get these kids to, and adults too, because I worked with teachers.
Mm-hmm.
Please, I worked with teachers, and they went off and went to another school. They wanted to work in a school with professional performance artists. They wanted to go work with the elementary school. They wanted to go work and be a basketball coach. They wanted to go work for leadership school for girls. I mean, every teacher I worked with found out their true calling and left. They went into class. I'm working with the kids. They doing the poems that we're doing. 10 sessions change
Yes.
your life. 10 sessions change your life.
And so, how can we get more of you, Renee? Because I know you being a published author. Where can we find your books? And can you share a couple of books with us today?
So, okay, so I'll share one book. I'll share two. One book is keeping your cool, keeping your cool, and it's
Yes.
actually it's actually a book. It's done in rhyme, and I don't know if you can see any of the pages,
Yes, we
but
can see it perfect. Yes. It's
yeah, and
beautifully
it's
illustrated.
yeah, it is very pretty, um, and it's all about like anger management or managing emotions, and it's done in rhyme, and it's like in the lunchroom when you go get something to eat, and when you
Mhm.
come back, someone has taken your seat, or when you walk with your friends down the hall and someone bumps into you, they say nothing at all. No, I'm sorry, my bad. Not even, are you okay? No, they just run along their own merry way. So it's just done like that. And
Okay.
then it goes from scenarios that tick you off or pull your button or push your button or trigger you to what do you do when you get angry? When I used to get angry, I slam the door, ball up my fist, and stomp on the floor. Like, what do you do when you're angry? Now, what can you do? And so it has all these tips of, then one day to our school came a poet. She said, when you get angry, don't you ever dare show it. And then, goes into the different, count up to 10. When you can do that, the anger won't win. Just stuff like that, different things to do. And then
Okay.
have them make up their own. So it comes with a workbook and the book itself. So that's pretty popular. And that's for the kids. And then
Okay.
this one here is, and these both on Amazon. This one here is Manifest Your Dreams, because that's at the heart of what I do. Everything is about you can live your dreams, and how about becoming conscious about creating your dreams, right?
Yeah.
So this one, I dedicated this to my grandmother, who she was born on February 22nd, 2015, And she passed away February 22nd, 19, not 2003, I'm sorry. She was born 1915, and she passed away February 22nd, same day, 1974.
Mm.
So her birthday is 222. And so when we had 222 last year, I said, I'm going to publish this book in her honor, which I did. And all of them, these are rhyming affirmations or statements to help you and guide you through your journey. So the way this works is you just slide your fingers and stop, and then you read. So I'm going to read this for you. I release any and all negative emotions toward myself or anyone else. Now, I don't know if that's something that you are trying to do, or you know what I mean? Like,
Right,
but
right.
that's what, so that's how the book works. And you just pull it open, you stop and you read and that's your message for the day. That's your message for the week. That's your message for the year, whatever you want to do. But that's how the book works.
Awesome. Well, I am so excited to hear about that. And I look forward to ordering. I'm like, when we met, and I was like, oh, I want to make sure that I get this and get that. But I'm going to definitely make sure, I support you in your books from author to author. And I see that I've posted your email address. So if anyone wants those 10 sessions with you, they should email you or go to your website and contact you
Right.
directly.
Interesting that you say that, because I was doing coaching with women, and men too, actually, helping, because a lot of times, we live our lives being whoever everyone else needs us to be. So if
Mm-hmm.
they need us to be a parent, we're going to be a parent. They need us to be a wife or a husband, we're going to be that. We need to be a coworker, we're going to be that. We need to be a subordinate, we're going to be that. So, and then when everybody comes and leaves, and now you're home, and they call you an empty nester or whatever, and you're going, well, who am I? What am I supposed to do? What about me? And so that's the coaching that I do. Find your passion, live your purpose kind of thing. And a lot of people just don't know because they've never been directed. And it's hard to just sit and think, well, I don't know. But it's through poetry that you are released to allow yourself that creativity, and boom, it comes and it happens. And you know what I had this past week? I was in Puerto Vallarta. I was invited to come over for a women's retreat and speak on empowerment. It was a women's empowerment retreat. I was like, oh, empowerment, that's my thing. So
Yes.
so that's what so I was like, sure, yes, I'm coming. And so I went, and the ladies were, they were all older. They were, some of them, most of them were retired, and they didn't know what we were going to be doing. They had no clue. I had an hour and a half with them, and they were like, um, afterward, this woman said, I was in corporate America for years. We've done a lot of workshops, tons and tons of workshops. I didn't know what to expect. I didn't want to allow myself to expect. But let me tell you something. If I had, you exceeded every expectation I would have even ever had. She said, this was not a workshop. This was a life experience.
Yeah.
And
That's
so,
wonderful.
so it was, everyone was coming up saying different things. And it was just so moving to see them at this stage of the game, taking the layers off and finding out who you are. And, and they were crying. Let me tell you something. You work with me, you're going to start crying. That's just how it goes.
Let
You're
me
going
get
to have
my
to have it.
tissue.
You're going to have a breakdown and have a breakthrough. That's it.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. I just want to be there now. I just want to go back in time with you and be there in the room with you and
Girl,
share and
please.
experience what those women experienced.
I didn't want to come home. It was good for me too, because, you know, I my practice or whatever has grown and evolved. It started out with children, then it went to the teachers and the social workers, and now these women. And I also did some coaching with some women. Same thing. I'm retiring, and I don't know what I'm supposed to do. That kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then I found out about a company that has these patches. I don't know if I tell you. They're called X39, and they help your body heal itself. What a time to have a second win. Can you imagine? You're coming into a time when things are beginning to break down, but you find out about a technology that you can use that is non-invasive, doesn't have any medication or drugs or chemicals, and yet you use it, and you use it like for 12 hours every day. You just put this patch on. I'm going to show you. It's like the size of a quarter. And I
Wow.
found out about this. My knees were killing me. And when I found out about it, I put it on, and I was like what they call a one patch wonder. My knees stopped hurting the same day. That night at 8 o'clock, I was in shock. Oh my God. And, but just to say that after that, I started realizing that there was a residual income. So now I have this thing that I do over here, and then I have this thing over here that's like, if I don't go to work at a school, I don't get paid. Over here, you get paid residually all the time. So it's like, it's a perfect time to, and people need extra income, and
Yes.
people are looking for optimum health. So it's perfect. It's, if I can help in any way, that's me.
Well, thank you so much, Renee, for sharing that. And you help people reinvent their lives. You help people create because, of course, you know, it's our God-given talent for the power to create, and then to live a self-discovery and self-expression through poetry. And as the poetic motivator, I thank you so much for joining us this evening. And it's been a pleasure. I'm like thrilled. I may have tons more questions, but I'm like, I want to get into your program. That's what I want to do. I want to get in the program. I want to be with you. I want to be in the room with you. I want to, you know, get to know myself, you know, because even through this conversation, I'm like, gosh, I guess I do have some introspection that I need to do in my life, to know, you know, what's the next steps for me, and, you know, what is it? Am I really living my purpose? So you brought up a whole lot of different questions. You brought us some wonderful rhymes, and just really the impact that you've had in the community has been extraordinary. So thank you so much for you giving yourself to others, and giving of yourself, and being of service to the impact the world. So thank you.
Well, thank you for inviting me. It was my pleasure to be here, and share all of this. And I also, you know, I have a song called You Can Live Your Dreams. It's on iTunes and Spotify and all of that. And that kind of has some things in it too that, you know, can help. But yeah, we'll have to make that happen. You and me.
Yes.
We're going to do something. We're going
Because
to wait till after the baby's born.
Yes, definitely. So you can live your dreams, and that's what's available. You said on iTunes.
It's on iTunes. It's on Spotify. It's on
And
Google
Spotify.
Play. Yeah,
Okay.
it's all over the place. And it's also, I actually did a video with it, so it's on YouTube as well. You Can Live Your Dreams by Renee McRae.
Okay, I'm going to put that in there, and then so we can make sure that everyone knows that.
Right. When you look on
You Can
YouTube
Live Your
or
Dreams.
anywhere, you Can Live Your Dreams by Renee McRae. Like you have to have that part, because there's a lot of You Can Live Your Dreams out there.
Okay, but it's by Renee McRae, and you can go to www.reneemcrae.com. We've been running your website throughout the program, and we do thank you so much for being with us today, Renee. I won't impose upon you to sing. We want people to go so you can get the numbers and listen to it on your favorite station, iTunes, Spotify, or even check her out on YouTube. So thank you so much.
It's like funky. It's got a funky beat to it.
Funky beat. Oh, great. And do you have any final words for the audience?
Yes, but if you know what, ask a poet. But I'm not going to say a poem. But I will say this: don't accept less. Know what you want and don't accept less. That's it. That's it. That it's like faith over fear.
Mm-hmm. Well, we want to say, be, do, and have the greatness that you desire, because the greatness is in you. That's how we end each and every Power Fridays Live. And we thank you so much, Renee, for joining us. We do appreciate your time. And we want to see you guys here again next week here on Power Fridays Live. Thank you. Take care. Be blessed. And have a great weekend. Thank you. Bye-bye.